3 minutes past 3 p.m. right here on the A Farmers Media. This is the Farm Drive Show with me, Conrad Kibe, where we tell you or we give you the story of an African farmer. And so today we are actually tackling an agricultural sector with a lot of markets, both locally here in the country and definitely for exportation around the world. And because of its importance in terms of cookery and also health, very many Kenyans are buying this product every single day. So details of that and much more will be coming your way shortly. But also make sure you be here to catch up with the pan of the day during the Kipindi Chalala Salama. And definitely for those traveling or are on the roads, we'll be giving you the traffic updates towards the tail end of this show. And definitely with the long rains that you're having currently, we'll be giving you the weather updates so that ukuwe umejipanga vizuri for you as a farmer, definitely for you who will be also traveling ama utakuwa unafungua biashara yako. You need to know what is happening in terms of the weather na vile utakuwa umejipanga. Kama ni don't be somewhere where you'll be inaitwa nini, overdressing or underdressing. Just make sure you are adequately prepared for that and much more. And also we always, as always, we reiterate right here on the show, we must comply with the three guidelines that are being given by the Ministry of Health and definitely also by WHO. That is wearing your mask, and not just wearing your mask. You must wear your mask properly, maintain your social distance always, and necessary, if it's necessary, actually you just need to sanitize, or if not sanitizing, just make sure you wash your hands with clean water and soap always, so that we actually we are together in this fight to contain the virus in the country. We are 1 month and we are 1 year, sorry, and 2 months old since the first case got into the country. So we need to contain the positive rate. We need to make sure that we have contained this virus as much as possible so that we get to post COVID as soon as possible. Now, see you. And so today we get deep into coriander or dhania farming. And so this dhania farming in Kenya has been one of the most profitable agricultural endeavors in the recent times, and many Kenyans actually consider this coriander or dhania as a spice crop. Most Kenyans you'll find every single day utapata mahali mtu anataka kununua dania 5, dania 10, depends with the food that you're cooking, but most Kenyans right now are buying dania on a daily basis. And this is because it adds flavor to food, has a rich source of vitamin C that is very important, and it's an essential oil, right? So you'll find watu kwa nini wananunua dania 1, that one is pinned. The pinned reason is that it adds flavor to food, contains a lot of vitamin C, and it's an essential oil. And not just because of the importances of what it brings to in terms of the food or cookery or health because of vitamin C and the oils. Kenyans are also buying it on a very every single day, on a daily basis. Every Kenyan, you'll get probably 4 out of 5 Kenyans are buying dania on a very single day. And this is one reason that more and more farmers are actually getting into this kind of farming or growing this kind of crop and making, at the end, it's all about making profit. If you're having a market, definitely you'll make profits at the end of the day. And so coriander or dhania farming is an easy crop, or coriander by itself or dhania by itself is an easy crop to grow in Kenya. And it's a thin stemmed plant that consists of small and bushy herbs measuring around 20 to 50 centimeters. If my director can have the picture on the screen. And we have said it's a thin stemmed plant that consists of small and bushy herbs or herb measuring around 20 to 50 centimeters in terms of the height. And but despite being an easy crop to grow, many farmers in the country, especially right here in Kenya, that try this venture end up facing losses, and we'll come to that. The majority do not have proper guidelines or proper guidance about the climatic condition. That is one key challenge that very many farmers who do coriander farming in the country go through. It's that they don't have proper knowledge or proper guidance when it comes to climate conditions in which the plant can grow very successfully. among other factors that will be coming to in a short while. And at the same time, before you embark, this is very, very important for you to note who wants to, for you as a farmer who wants to get into dhania farming. It's good to actually understand that before you embark or decide to get into dhania farming in Kenya, you need to know how to grow it and how much profit you can make from the from growing of dhania. And so, just before we go to how you do it, it's all about the business plan that you have. Remember, always there are two values that will always keep on insisting in this show. Two. One is patience, the other one is intentionality. How patient are you with the climatic conditions? How patient are you to get your profits at the end of your sales or when you get to the market? How intentional are you for you to just see the growth of coriander or dhania towards the end until you get your profits or until you get to the market? So those two values are very important. Patience, and this cuts across any type of farming, any type of agribusiness. This is very important. Patience. You must exercise patience. You must just make sure you always patient, sorry, with the crops. Remember, these are living organisms, and so they need a lot of patience. Just like you, as you deal with human beings out here, you need patience for you to see uh, the the value of someone else or the outcome of someone else. If you're working with a young person, if you're working with a toddler, you must make sure you're patient enough with this child or with this person. It's the same thing you do with the plants. It needs a lot of patience. If you don't exercise patience, you become very impatient. You're not intentional. You are not into it. Remember, farming kama tena vile tumesema, it's just like it's like a child. You have to be there for you to see the growth, for you to be, a child can't actually feed itself. All right, so you have to, especially a toddler, you have to be there in every step of the way. Don't miss 2 weeks, then that's when you're coming back. They'll have a lot of things that have actually piled up. So those are two things you must understand. Besides having to know how to do it and how to make profits, two things: just have the patience, have the intentions to actually get into this kind of farming. At the same time, you need to come up with a business plan. And this business plan will help you to know how to actually grow it, what climatic conditions I need. At the same time, you'll come to understand the profits at the end. And these profits are just on paper. Remember, so many things go into actually getting the profits in terms of monetary value, in terms of just seeing it in a very practical way, because you have the pests and diseases. So many things will come into the way, and so just having the profits on paper to translate them into monetary value at the end, when you just take uh, your your products to the market, to have that translation come into reality, you need the two values you're talking about: the patience and the intentionality. Right? Besides just knowing how to do it, how to grow this crop. Remember, you've said it's very simple, it's doable, but at the same time, if you don't understand, if you don't have that knowledge, if you don't have that guidance, it will be very challenging for you and probably will not be as doable as you think it is. And at the same time, you'll not understand the profits, because I know you're wondering, sasa kitu ya 5 bob basi alinunua na pesa ngapi? We'll come to all that, but we start with how to actually grow coriander. And the first step, after you've already planned all this, you've done your research, you've done your business plan, you've already injected yourself with dawa ya patience, and at the same time umejidunga dawa ya intentionality. Now you come to the practical part of it, of how to actually grow coriander, actually to grow dhania. And the best way of growing dhania first is sowing. All right, sowing the seed. And the best way of growing dhania is by using fresh seeds that are less than 2 years or 2 years old. All right, it's just sowing the fresh seeds that are less than 2 year old. But at the same time, transplanting is still possible. Not that just using the fresh seeds that are less than 2 years old is the only way, but we are talking about it being the best way. All right, that's the best way. But there are so many ways. Transplanting at the same time, it's doable. It's possible. It does not offer the best results at the same time during cultivation, but it's doable. So if you have an option where you can have the fresh seeds that are less than 2 years, that's the best way. But if that is not doable, doesn't mean it's the end of it. You can do transplanting, but have in mind that it will not give you or give you the best results when it comes to cultivation. At the same time, when you're still doing the sowing, this depends on the variety of that you're growing. All right, the variety of the seeds that you're growing. You'll notice that coriander has two seeds. That's one thing very, very key to notice, that coriander or dhania has two seeds. And so consider splitting these two seeds into two. All right, split the seeds before planting in order to increase the rate of germination. Hii ni siri tu nawaibia. When you have the two seeds now, split them. And when you do the splitting, this actually increases the rate of germination, or the rate at which the seeds will germinate, and this increases the quantity of the products you'll have in your farm. And so you can also sow and plant the seed at the same time. You don't have to do one, then you just pause for a short while, then you take the next process of planting now the seed. You can do that at the same time. Sow the seed and then plant the seed at the same time. All you have to do is sprinkle them, or sprinkle the seeds in rows and wait for them to germinate. We actually advocating for planting or sowing and planting at the same time. You don't have to do them alternatively. After umemaliza hii ndio unafanya ile ingine. You can sow at the same time and plant at the same time. But what is actually necessary when you're doing all this is make sure you're watering these seeds and let them germinate. Let the rest of nature take its course. Wacha germination ifanye kazi yake. So you can sow and plant at the same time. There's no problem. If you want to do them alternatively, it's okay. But the best way to do the sowing and planting is at the same time. All right. So after you've done your sowing and now you've done your planting, it's good to notice or just to understand the soil type and preparation. Just before you go to the planting and all this, you have done your research. All right. You need, in your research, you need now to do it practically and understand what's your soil type. And at the same time, you need to prepare your soil and your farm. And so Kenyan farmers grow long and short dhanias. There are very, very many varieties of dhania, but right now we're going to be focusing on the long and short varieties of dhania. And so there's no much difference between the both of them actually. But in general, what we can actually get from the two varieties is it grows in well-drained soil. Whether it's clay, whether it's loam, whether it's sandy soil, as long as it's well-drained, all right, can do well in all these three types of soils. However, this is where now the trick comes in. However, you must ensure the drainage is enough. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it in clay soil, sandy soil, or loam soil. The key thing is not about the soil, it's about the drainage. How well does your soil drain the water? Amania, it's a holder. There it holds a lot of water. That is the trick. It's not the type of soil, it's how, just to ensure that the drainage is enough. That is a trick when it comes to actually the type of soil. That is not the key element right now, whether it's clay, sand, or loam. It's how well the soil is draining, right? Or the drainage of the soil. Otherwise, you will not have better yields. When you just focus on the type of soil and decide, I'm going to go with the loam soil, and probably the loam soil that you have at the moment, or in your location, or in your farm, does not actually hold the water properly or drain the water properly. So you'll find you have the loam soil, and that is what you're advised by probably an agronomist, your fellow farmer, or where you sought for knowledge. They tell you loam is the best actually, but now the drainage is not enough for the loam soil that you have, is not enough, and so you'll not you'll find yourself not getting better yields. Probably out there you've had an experience of you were told about you sought for knowledge, or you sought for help or guidance, and you're told fanya na loam soil, and that's the best, and you never paid attention to the drainage. How well is it? And probably you never got the yield that you expected. You can share your thoughts and your experiences on our Facebook page, that is A Farmers with a Z at the end. Definitely on YouTube, that is A Farmers Media Kenya, and we shall be sharing so that other farmers out there who are actually thinking of getting into coriander farming or dhania farming can actually learn from that, from your experiences. Because I know now, if you went through that kind of experience, you've actually learned something from that kind of experience, and you're good to go. So it's good to share so that other farmers can learn from your mistakes and not repeat the same mistakes in future. And so we've talked about sowing, the soil type, and the preparation. And now, when it comes to the pH of the soil, it's good to understand the best. All right, this is the required one. This is a bit light. It's supposed to be between 6.1 and 8.0. That is the required one. It's okay, you're good to go, you're safe when your soil pH is between 6.1 and 8.0. But the ideal range, the best range, where if you seek knowledge, if you talk to an agronomist, they will tell you it's between 6.5 and 7.5. But the range can be extended up to 8.0. That is okay. If you're doing between 6.1 and 8.0, it's okay. But the best is between 6.5 and 7.5. So it's good to actually get to know your soil type, your soil pH, so that you can prepare yourself. Remember, when you started, we talked about being an easy crop to grow, but at the same time, farmers are going through the challenge of not knowing the climatic condition, not knowing the soil type, and how to actually prepare for all this. And so at the same time, just the soil being having a pH between 6.0 and 8.0, or 6.1 to 8.0, the soil must be rich in organic matter, even if you plan to add fertilizers. That is just an addition, a supplement. But at the same time, your soil has to have, or must be rich in organic matter. Besides adding or having fertilizers, your soil must be rich in organic matter. And so it's good to conduct a soil test to determine the pH before you get into dhania farming. Just do it so that when you get into it, remember, you're being intentional about it. You're not just doing it for the sake. And so you need to actually get into it. Do the soil testing. Very important. All right. And so when we come back, it's all about planting and spacing. But in the meantime, let's take this short commercial break. We'll be right back.